Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day. And first things first, I'm going to check my audio to see if it's shitting itself. It's fine. That's what we'd like to see. Hey. Good morning, Lake, who was in the chat nice and early this morning, dropping in the exclusive Ice Cream Uploads emotes that sounds like Bibby type it in a fashion that you would say it, because I can see that you're in the chat as well. It sounds a bit like, okay, fine, I will nail the Bibby impression. This is how Bibby says that emote, and I'm pointing it, if you're listening, it's the oh hello emote, but it sounds, if Bibby was to say it, sounds exactly like this. Oh, hello. Because that's exactly what Bibby sounds like. Yeah.
Good impression. Good impression.
Nailed it. There you go. Bibby's nailed it in the chat. Hello. There you go. Sorry for the ears. I apologize. Anyway, welcome in, everyone. How are we all doing? Happy Friday, last day of the week, and last scoop of the week. So if you're here, don't worry, you're on time. You get to see out the weekend with us. That's nice. Lenny Boy CFC says, hi. Hey, welcome back, Lenny Boy. How are you doing? Boinky Boy says, hiya. Welcome back as well. How are you doing? How's the week been? You looking forward to the weekend? Is everyone looking forward to the weekend? I am. Just a couple of things before we start the show. There will be no afternoon stream today, so we've got the scoop today, but got a conference call this afternoon. That said, this evening there will be content, so if you do want to tune in around 5ish, we'll lock down the exact time we start a little bit later on today, but we'll have some evening fun times, maybe even some pairs. I don't know, we will see. So if you do want to jump in, I will see you all this evening with that man in the chat. We've got Bybin Ho. That's how you pronounce it, by the way. Bybin Ho. People say Babinho, but it's not. It's Bybin Ho. Anyway, Mr. GariClark is in the chat. Oh. Okay, I've got to stop.
Oh, babe, thanks for letting me on the show this week. I love you all. I love you, Graham. I love you, my fellow brother Bibby. I am the Halo God, the King at Halo 2. I will 360 no-scope.
I will 360 no-scope. Thank you very much for the 12 months, 1 full year. Enix, our guest on the show today, has just dropped his 12-month subscription. That's 4 months in a row. Thank you for the Prime, Jordan, and welcome to the 1 year club. You've got the little. Is it 1 year? No, actually, no. You've got the full ice cream as your sub badge now. So yeah. Thank you very much. I'll read. Okay, let me jump through the intro and then we'll jump into things. If you have any primes just lying around like Jordan does, feel free to throw it at us. I mean, we will take it away from you. We will dispose of it according to government standards and stuff. So it's fine. Get rid of the primes here on ICU. But enough about the primes. Welcome in. If you don't know, my name is Graham. Hopefully you know that. If you don't know that, then that's fine. You do now. My name is Graham. This is not Bibby. I would usually be sat here with Bibby. Today I'm joined once again by... Oh, never mind. We've got a raid coming in. Yeah. Mr. Tharian Drake dropping a party of 11. Good morning, everyone, from Canada. Although, how are we all doing? Storm, I don't know how. Storm the DK Snub. I don't know. I've butchered that. I apologize, but thank you very, very much for the follow. Thank you, Princess Bean. Thank you for the follow too. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Tharian Drake says, "Hey, that's not Bibby. That is not Bibby. Oh, good evening," says Princess Bean. Oh, okay. Good evening. It's actually 11:20 in the morning for us in the UK. I'm assuming. Are you in Canada as well? For those that don't know, Tharian Drake is a world-class streamer from Canada. And he does a bit of everything. I mean, he is a chef. Do you do any cooking stuff actually on stream, Mr. Drake? I don't think you do you? But he plays games and does some creative streams as well. So if you want to go over and drop Mr. Tharian Drake a follow, that would be very, very lovely. Feel free to do that. It's 10:20 in the PM in Australia. Well, I mean, I mentioned this. It's literally the first time I've mentioned this, and I don't mention this each and every single time we get new people in from Australia. But my name is Graham, and my surname is Day. So if you put my first name and my surname together, I'm Australian because my name is Goodeye. So there you go. It's not the first time I've said that, and it's not going to be the last. I apologize. But welcome into the stream. How are you doing? Tharian Drake says, I wish I will maybe do a cake decorating thing next month. Oh, nice. Well, if you do, feel free to hit me up because I do love a good cooking stream. Nice. Gagad even, not Kagad. Gagad says, good morning, gents. Good morning, Gagad. How are we doing today? Anyway, as mentioned, I'm Graham. This is not Bibby. This is Enix. aka Jordan. And we today are Ice Cream Uploads. And in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. And we are going to give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. You can share those with us live when we go live on air on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday in the UK at 10 a.m. ish. 10 a.m. ish. It's 22 minutes past 11. 10 a.m. ish. We have an emote for that specific reason. So we go live at 10 a.m. ish, but we turn the live stream into a podcast. That's why we need your thoughts and impressions, because people can watch and listen on demand. The video podcast goes on YouTube, and the audio podcast goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So feel free to jump in the chat on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand a little bit later on. Nice. Couple of things first before we go live. ! Insert Coin. Shout out to Mr. Dan Long and the rest of the team at Insert Coin. If you don't know what Insert Coin is, Insert Coin clothing only make the best clothing in the video games industry, bar none. And we're not just saying that because we have free clothing from them. Absolutely not. No, we genuinely are. We've been fans of Insert Coin for a while, and we've actually worked with them for the best part of a decade. So it's nice to be partnered with them. We are part of the Insert Coin family. We are part of the Coin Army, and we will be streaming on @official Insert Coin in a couple of weeks' time, finishing off our Way Out playthrough, as well as that ! Loot drop, and you can bag yourselves some ice cream prizes. Nice.
I do want that Ghost of Tsushima hoodie that I've seen.
It's class. The hoodie and the matching sweatpants, it's so comfortable. And that's a no spawn. I'm not paid to say that. I have been given it for free, so #gifted, but not #ad spawn. So yeah, it's good. 2 years as a streamer in 2 days, but a month or so till it's my affiliate birthday. Well, GG's. Happy birthday in 2 days' time. So Monday, Friday, Saturday. On a Sunday. There you go. Happy birthday for Sunday. Happy stream birthday for Sunday. Storm, I don't know how to say that. I'll just say Storm. Says that cringe. What was that, the good eye? If it is, I apologize. I don't apologize. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. Let me jump into the split screen so we can see a little bit more of Jordan on screen. Ta-da! There we go. Let's get the names on as well. There you go. It's just Storm. There we go. Wait, it's tomorrow already? So it's 1 day. There you go. Well, for tomorrow, see, this is the thing when you've got international time zones. We're in the middle in the UK, but then we've got like Princess being from Australia, you in Canada. It's all over the place. See, that's kind of the complex but amazing thing that Twitch does. Anyone around the world? I mean, we've got 3 different days on the go potentially, but it's fine. Chelsea in UK's in the chat as well, and has dropped a host. Thank you very much, Chelsea. And how are we doing? How's things? Tharian Drake says it's madness. Yeah. It is madness. But anyway, congrats on the 2 years. Enix. This is usually where, because we started the show, you are a guest host. This is usually where I drop in and say, tell us a little bit about yourself. But you've guest hosted 3 times this week, so there's a good chance that people know a little bit about you. So Enix, don't tell me anything about yourself. Nobody wants to know. Stop going on about you. I'm only joking. For those that don't know, Enix is a man with many years in industry. Many years of industry experience, and I've got many words that I can't say. So there you go. He works in and around esports and has worked with us on Ice Cream before. Nice. So it's nice to have him back in with us this week. Appreciate the support by dropping on 3 shows as well. Cheers, dude. Thank you very much. Anyway, we have 5 stories to go through. It's basically 4 stories and then a little bit at the end, just for a little bit of a catch-up. So hopefully we won't keep you all day, but for the next hour or so, we will be running through the biggest stories in the world of video games. And one of them, the first story of the day, follows on from, not yesterday, the day before. We had the first announcement of Aliens Fireteam when Chappers was on. Good morning, Chappers. If you're here, he's probably in a meeting, though. But we had the first look at Aliens Firestorm with the trailer, and we're like, yeah, that looks pretty good. And literally, I thought, well, that's it. We're not going to see anything of that for months. It does come out in the summer, but maybe April-ish. Anyway, 2 days later, we have a lot more on that. We're not going to show everything on that today, because we will be here for weeks. because there has been 25 minutes of gameplay footage shown, thanks to the people at IGN. But we have this article from VG247 to bring you up to speed. I will hit play on the video. I will hit mute on it as well, so you get to see a little bit of that as we start to go through this. But expect to see a little bit more of this on our screen as the months roll by. So, Aliens Fireteam shows off solid PvE action in a 25-minute gameplay. This is written by Sherif Saed at VG247, and it says, Aliens Fireteam looks like some good co-op shooty time in new gameplay footage. I love that explanation. Co-op shooty time, yes. It was never really a challenge to imagine what game Aliens Fireteam is since the moment of its reveal. The trailer showed third-person co-op action where a squad of players fend off waves of xenomorphs. This is exactly what this extended gameplay demo from IGN shows, and so much more. For one, the 25-minute gameplay demo illustrates the pace of the game and the few ideas it borrows from other genre hits. The third-person movement and feel look to be similar. Look to be similar to World War Z, as do the in-level pickups like turrets and other defenses. Fireteam also relies on a class system where players are encouraged to fill any one of 5 particular roles for their team. Another aspect that shows off really well in the gameplay is enemy variety. Developer Cold Iron says there are over 20 enemy types to fight, including different classes of xenomorphs such as drones, Praetorians, jumpers, spitters, and bursters, as well as androids and non-xenomorphs, though we don't get to see those today. Cold Iron also said that the environment shown will be one of several, so we won't just be fighting in the same ship interior for the entire game. Aliens Fireteam's story is made up of 4 campaigns, each set in one location, once again similar to World War Z. Though the game can be played solo, with bots filling in for the other 2 players, Cold Iron said it's designed for co-op. In terms of difficulty, the developer explained that the game offers multiple levels that range from the casual and low stakes to the challenging with scarce ammo and friendly fire enabled. Well, that's us dead. Nice. Aliens Fireteam is coming this summer to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. So the gameplay is playing in the article there. We'll leave the article on screen for a little bit longer now. But Jordan, Aliens Fireteam. Were you in the chat when we first spoke about this the other day? Does it look good to you?
Yeah, so I saw this when it first got shown, and I thought, you know what, I'm pretty hyped. Like, obviously, the alien skin released on Fortnite, and then I'm guessing that's why. But yeah, I think Aliens is my favorite film, like one of my favorite sci-fi horror films. And out the wide range of alien films, Aliens is the best, and it was always good because you were on the ground with the Marines, and saw it from that horror aspect. Now, I'm not expecting this game to fill that role. One, it looks too bright, and the gameplay looks a little bit arcadey. So I just think it's going to be a generic for 3-person co-op. I mean, at the moment, the industry's going crazy for them. We look at Back for Blood. We've got Outriders coming soon. That's a 3-player co-op game that's out at the end of the month, and that demo's come out. That's not a bad game. We've got multiple 3-player co-op games. Yeah, it's just a bit weird. But yeah, I think it might be good, but the gameplay looks a little bit generic. It's going to be interesting to see how the class system works. So how the different classes in the video, because I watched the video yesterday, the sort of engineer looks pretty cool. So setting up turrets and setting up, obviously, some of the defenses, and that's what you really reminisce from the films. Sorry for a little bit of spoilers, but like near the end of the film, obviously it's trying to recreate that into a full experience. The only issue is with these games is how do you make it interesting? Now, with Outriders, with the difficulty, it increases the world difficulty, and IGN did a video of that actually a few days ago where it's shown them trying to reach the highest difficulty world, and they reached about 10 or 12 when they were like, oh wow, this is getting really difficult now without like a bit of grind and leveling up. So yeah, it's gonna be how they do it, and they need to keep in this reload animation. So I actually got this for you for the show today, and I've just stuck it in chat. This reload animation, it's not reload, it's weapon swap, but I want this in the game. It's too good to leave out.
and they've sent this fire team, us, the three of us, to investigate and research and
So obviously the game is a third-person
that reload animation's the best. Oh, yeah.
Just kind of threw it up over his shoulder and then it floated out from the side. Woo! Woo! So there you go. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I mean, I think my biggest issue that I can see with this, let's pick off the negatives first. I think my biggest issue with this is probably what you just said, the brightness. So the video that was embedded in the article from VG247 was from IGN. This is an exclusive IGN with the first to get 25 minutes of gameplay footage. So the people that are playing in this gameplay trailer are IGN staff members that are playing through. So I'll play their video. I'll hit mute on it again. So yeah, my issue with it, as John just mentioned, was how bright it is. Like it's still not bright. It's obviously not. It's not like looking at Fortnite or Warzone when you're out in Verdansk. Is it even Verdansk anymore in Warzone? I don't know these days.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not the same in terms of it's not that bright, but it's not Aliens dark either. Which I think, if they tweak that, for me, that's kind of what I wanted. So when I was saying I don't like wave and horde sort of games where you just stack your defenses and then they come again, and you stack your defenses and then they come again, a la COD Zombies. I don't even know if COD Zombies has evolved past that because it's not really my style of gameplay. However, add in the sporadic, all over the place, dark, I'm just shitting my pants and screaming into a microphone, and my mates are doing the same thing at the same time. I don't mind that because that's a little bit more of a trip. I don't mind that kind of thing there. Whereas this on screen, so you're in a dark room, you can see in the peripherals, it's a bit dark around there, but even all the way up to the roof up there is well lit from the torch on. I don't know if that's just my character's torch or if that's using the other character's torches or not. But yeah, you could see a long way down the corridors, so you could kind of see what's coming. So those are negatives. It doesn't scare me. What I was hoping for this was, and once again, I've not played it, but what I want from this is what Alien Isolation gives you. That feeling of it's could be touching the back of my neck. I don't really know. Where is it? Is it even there? I don't know what the fuck is happening. I wanted that sort of like scareness, but then merged into a really solid shooter. So having the shit scared out of me whilst being able to play combat with my teammates, that's kind of what I wanted. So it's not as scary as I wanted, but that said, it looks like it would be fun. I think I agree with what you said, and Gary as well. Gary as well says I like the announcement of it. But after seeing it, it looks okay. Hopefully it plays amazingly well. I mean, there's a few issues in what we can see in that gameplay. Obviously, this is the very first look at the gameplay, so take those with a pinch. The fact that the one dude changes his weapon by lobbing one over the shoulder and suddenly pulls one out of his side. There was another bit where players were walking through a door and they started to kind of phase into each other and out of each other super early. So ignore that sort of stuff. That'll probably be gone. But yeah, I would have liked a little bit more of a scary vibe. That said, it's the first look, so maybe they could tweak that sort of stuff.
Well, I think this is how they could actually change it. So, if they did make it darker and really put that emphasis on the horror elements, it would make it different from some of the other sort of co-op games out there. I mean, I know Back 4 Blood's about zombies, and that's a really good game. I really can't wait for that to come out. But I'll give you an example, actually. So when I tried PSVR, after hooking up to my PS5 and it looked like a server room, I decided to play Resident Evil 7. I think it's up on my channel at some point. And I tried playing it. There's multiple times where I just stopped because, one, the atmosphere around me, and what really helped that was when it goes completely dark and you've only got that little small viewing area of your flashlight. And it just scared me, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to travel through this house not knowing what's after me. And I think this game could do that, even though it's in third person. Obviously, it takes away some of that sort of depth and immersion. But I wonder if they're doing it so other people don't complain, so people who don't like that sort of stuff, because you're limiting the view then. And if you're playing a game through the view of 30% of your screen, it might put some people off. But that's why you have light items in game. You could place flares on the floor or something like that.
Yeah, in the chat, excuse me, Lake says, from the first look, I really did not get game released in 2021 feelings. I mean, I can see that. I mean, some of the bugs in there were fairly easily fixable, so I could see that. I mean, overall, I think it looks pretty solid. We've got Bibinho, with a 31-month resub. Thanks, babe. I'll read. See that he gets a week off. It makes Jordan do all the heavy lifting, and then still finds the time to drop a sub. Thanks, babe. I'll read. Fatman Dave says, if it was later levels, alien isolation, lighting, it might look better. Asim said, I would have preferred it to be first person, create that claustrophobic and cramped up feel, which adds to the tension. Would have helped with the darkness as well as field of view is a bit more limited. I think that's it as well, is like, there's quite a few games where you can jump between first and third person. And if you look at that view that's on screen now, there we go. Let me just full screen this IGN video. So this character that's on the screen, if you go to first person, basically you want the camera to zoom in to see from these eyes in this head. And so the space that you're going to be looking at is this space, which is all very well illuminated. So as that currently is, if you dropped into first person from third person, you would just be looking at a very well lit room. So the darkness definitely needs to drop off, because if you're making it claustrophobic, you're dropping the viewing field down to that visual angle. At that point, everything's well lit. You can't even tell that you've got a torch. You just, wherever you're looking, it's a really well lit room. Nice. So yeah, dropping that down, definitely. But I agree. There's nothing as scary as, like, if you want people to properly shit themselves, which is what they wanted with isolation, first person is definitely the way to do that. That said, I imagine they've gone for more of the fortifying defenses, or at least having strategy, because quite often if you're having strategic games like that, third person can be quite helpful, because that not only allows you to keep track of what you're doing and where your defenses are, so you can see your character, you can see if you've got any turrets, you can see if you've got any lighting bits popped up whilst looking down the corridor, and seeing where your teammates are. That's where third person does become a benefit, and that's why a lot of people like third person for that. But I think that's where the trade-off for me. I would have preferred the trade-off to lean more into, and obviously take all of this with a pinch. This is one look at a 25-minute trailer, first look. It could have multiple different modes. It could change. And without playing it, it's all kind of guesswork, really. But my guesses are based on, this seems to be leaning a bit more towards the teamworky element and less towards what I think Alien's strongest point is being absolutely in your head, scare the shit out of you. Jump fest mixed with a shooter. That's what I would have liked to see. Go that way, and then it's an all day. I'll take it.
Just a quick one as well. One big thing that might change this as well is the actual classes of xenomorphs. So, like, obviously we got the generic xenomorphs, and then obviously we've seen the ones from Alien 3 and all that type of stuff, and the Queen. But what are the others actually going to look like? Is it just a generic xenomorph that jumps at you, like, and that's what a jumper is, and the spitter just like spits its acid at you? That's not really that fun, to be fair. But then obviously I don't want them to be ruined from a visual point of view. Like a xenomorph coming out with like bionic arms and 360 no scoping you from the roof. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think the classes will also make a big difference.
I mean, if they really want it to be successful and they want to properly do the xenomorphs justice, then the xenomorph needs to come out and then like start dropping a floss emote or something like that, or the what's the other weird dance where is it orange?
Orange Justice.
Orange Justice, yeah. If the xenomorphs start jumping out and doing Orange Justice, then you've not really got to shoot a team play game for yourself, have you then, really? No, mate. Excuse me. More on that story later. We'll come back to emotes at the end of the show. It's a co-op shooter first and Alien game second, it seems. Hopefully they work on the second part more until release. No, I agree. And it could be good as a co-op shooter. It could work really well. I mean, the gun, like... actually, let me jump back into this. So let me pause for... Oh, we're getting to see the character changing weapons. Oh, it's not it. But it just went... into ADS, so aiming down the sights on the screen. And when it does that, there we go, pause. Look how bright that room is. That's not first person. That's still over the shoulder, but over the shoulder ADS. Look how bright everything is there. All of the darkness is pretty much off screen. So if that was first person, it would, like Gary said, where was the comment? It was something along the lines of, yeah, they might as well have had the lights fully on in that room. Same thing there. They might as well have, it's basically lights fully on with a bit of draw distance. Effectively, that's what the darkness is doing. It's making it so that anything beyond a certain point isn't rendered. It's not. It is rendered. It's just in darkness, in shadows, as he bashes his mic. So that's kind of what it is for me. But I agree. It could be a good shooter, but for it to be a good alien shooter, it needs turn the lights off, turn it down a little bit, make it a little bit more scary. I mean, I will go through and watch this 25 minutes trailer a little bit more closely again. To see if I really get the aliens vibe, because it kind of, it's almost, yeah, very much horde mode ish in terms of there's so many. I've seen so many xenomorphs, and it's just fire and it's attack and it's chaos and it's which is fun, but it's also that I can't see that lasting a long time for me, which is a bit of a shame really, because in the first couple of playthroughs when you got a xenomorph and you're all like, oh, where's he gone? And then you kill it. And then you get like 2 xenomorphs. And then you get 5 xenomorphs. And then you've got 10. And you go, But then once you've killed them all and you realise that Molotovs or the equivalent and all sorts of other different things, and you learn the killing patterns, it's just a case of it's a lot of frantic action that doesn't really go anywhere. It's like, oh, that was another bit of frantic action. That was another bit of frantic action. It wasn't anything to do with the aliens. The alien could be changed to a zombie or could be changed to a goon with a gun. It doesn't really matter at that point. Xenomorph, bloke, not bothered. It's the same sort of thing. So, yeah, for me, it might be fun, but as it is now, it needs to lean more into aliens element for me. It looks good. It looks like a game you could enjoy. Not a game you'd probably love, but a game you could enjoy. So we'll see. We'll see how that develops. The Queen is in it. She's branched out. Good old Liz. The Chestbursters need to do the singing and dancing number from Spaceballs. Was it? I can't remember the song. Hello, my lady. Hello, or something. Hello, my good dang guy. As it goes down the bar. Is that what it is? Is it that one? Might be a £30 to £35 game. Hopefully, doubt it given the license, but it doesn't sound like a full-on £70 title given what I've seen. Agreed. I think you've nailed it. So Asim's last 2 comments were: it's a co-op shooter first and an alien game second, and it might be a £30 to £35 game. Hopefully, I agree. That's kind of where my thoughts are exactly. Nailed it. Lake. Oh, there we go. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. There we go. That's the one. Yeah, I was trying to remember the words of the tune. It just completely like mental blocked me. There you go. GG's Lake. Anyway, let's move ahead. So, Aliens, even Fireteam is still on for the summer. We've seen a little bit more footage. It's not spectacular, but it's not all bad either. It's probably going to be a little bit of fun in the summer. Probably not as fun as I was hoping for, but maybe that's my expectations. I don't know. We will see how it goes. If we get any more further updates, we will let you know what is happening with that. Speaking of further updates, though, you may have been around for the start of the week. Was it Tuesday? We had a story on Frogwares. Excuse me, I'm going to burp. I apologise. I mean, I could have hidden it, but I told you because it's honest day. I had a coffee burp and I need to get it out. So there you go. Anyway, now Frogwares versus Nacon, the sinking city. If you're around for the start of the week, there was the weirdest story. This has been bubbling on since 2019, and I have been unaware of it at all. The gist of the story that we covered on, I think Tuesday, it could have been Monday. I'll just say Tuesday. The gist of the story we covered on Tuesday was that Frogwares had spoken out against publisher Nacon. So Frogwares is the developer of The Sinking City. Nacon is the publisher. And Nacon basically gave Frogwares some money for this game and then stole the game. They used it as their own game. They said that it's insinuated that they were the developers. They were the sole owners of the IP by not even featuring Frogwares on the game covers on the game itself. So they downloaded the game, hacked the game, removed any mention of Frogwares, and uploaded that to Steam as a bashes mic. My bad. So yeah, basically Nacon, from the gist of it, as well as all of that sort of stuff, weren't paying on the time. So they were being a bit shit, is the way that we picked up the story on Tuesday. Anyway, I did say that we don't have any arguments from the side of Nacon. That was a very one-sided argument. If we do get any updates on that, we would share. And I can't remember if it was Gary or Bonsai, but one of you guys, thank you very much for sharing this article. Let me see quickly. This was Gary. This was shared by Gary. So thank you very much, Mr. GariClark, in the chat for sharing the update. So we can add a little bit more balance to give you a bigger picture on what is happening with that story. So this is written by Ben Borthwick at videogamer.com. And it says, Nacon responds to unjustified accusations it hacked and pirated the sinking city. Quote mark, a tagline should I say, Nacon obviously regrets this conflict, for which it is not responsible, and for which it did everything possible to avoid. So rather unsurprisingly, Nacon has a different side of the story. As we jump into the article, it says, Nacon has responded to developer Frogwares accusations from earlier this week that the company hacked and pirated the sinking city in order to sell the game on Steam in the midst of an already ongoing legal battle between the two companies. In a right of reply statement, Nacon, formerly known as Big Ben Interactive, said, Nacon hereby wishes to set the record straight regarding these unjustified accusations. Nacon is contractually the sole exclusive distributor of the Sinking City game on Steam. Nacon has contributed to the financing of development and the payment of royalties to Frogwares to the tune of 8.9 million euros to date, including the full payment for a version of the game for Steam, making the global investment far above 10 million euros when integrating the marketing costs. Contrary to Frogwares' allegations, Nacon has paid all amounts due. Today, unless Frogwares is acting in bad faith, it has no reason not to make the game available to Nacon on Steam. The statement noted that the company had repeatedly and unsuccessfully requested that Frogwares make the game available on Steam as per the ruling of the Paris Court of Appeal, and referred to a clause it claims was in the contract that would allow the game to be adapted by a third party in the event of their refusal. The publisher also accuses Frogwares of attempting to put the game on Steam without informing or mentioning Nacon as the publisher, in violation of our rights. Nacon's statement continues, quotes, despite this blocking situation created exclusively by Frogwares, Nacon has allowed players to access the game on Steam while still expressly indicating the ownership of Frogwares' rights to the game. Frogwares will also receive royalties generated by Steam sales. Quote, by encouraging the gaming community via Twitter not to buy the game on Steam, Frogwares is once again sabotaging our investments in the game. Nacon obviously regrets this conflict, for which it is not responsible and for which it did everything possible to avoid. Nacon closes their statement by saying that they will reserve their right to take legal action against Frogwares for its, quote, aggressive and prejudicial comments, and that Frogwares has been careful not to indicate that all court decisions in the dispute between Nacon and Frogwares have thus far been favourable to Nacon. Interesting. Obviously, we did take everything we saw at face value with a pinch the other day. But now when you look at it at the other side, so obviously we weren't happy with the way that the picture was painted, as you would expect. Going off the information that we had at hand, Frogwares insinuated that Nacon hadn't been paying. Frogwares insinuated that Nacon had been positioning itself as the sole owner of the game, and a number of other things. But now Nacon says that they have been paying, they have paid on time, and it's actually Frogwares that are the bad ones in terms of they are proactively going against contractual obligations and stuff. Their statements, though, which is different to Frogwares, their statements are backed up by courts. So basically, what was it? The Paris, I'll just say Paris Court. I can't find the actual quote. Paris Court of Appeal. There you go. They supported Nacon in their claims and said that Frogwares were the ones that were actually a little bit unjust. Let's just leave it there. Jordan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, originally, like, Frogwares turned everyone against Nacon, and, you know, we did say last time, you know, there's two sides to every story. Now, I think the key point in this whole article is definitely at the bottom, where it says they've been careful not to indicate that all court decisions in the dispute between Nacon and Frogwares has thus far been favourable to Nacon, which is true. Like, you know, why would the courts go with Nacon, especially with the decisions that have been made? It just makes me think why they've been going against Nacon then, especially if they've paid the money and the investments and continue to do so for the Steam sales that are happening. Yeah, it seems very weird. It seems just very petty now, especially from Frogwares. And yeah, it's just damaging their reputation, especially if Nacon win a court battle. Then yeah, Frogwares' reputation's like pretty much gone down massively after this. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I've not played the Sinking City. I don't know how valuable it is. I think it's a part of, like, the Cthulhu stuff. I've never really known the Cthulhu stuff, but yeah, from what I've seen of people enjoyed the game. They just wish there was no combat in it. So it seems like there is some value in it, but yeah, it's a very weird story to come out about a game that not many people will buy.
Yeah, it's a shame because I think it's almost a case of 6 and 1, half a dozen the other. Apologies if for our international viewers that doesn't translate very well, but 6 and 1, half a dozen and the other is an English idiom which basically means it's just people fighting backwards and forwards. One says one thing, one says another. 6 and half a dozen is the same thing. So it's just a case of nobody has the real advantage. They both just tacking back. I mean, someone probably does. We can't really tell because we've got two different people vehemently saying that they are in the right. And what it looks like to me is that we have two brands, Frogwares and Nacon, fighting over an IP, the Sinking City, which not that it's not worth it. I don't want to say that, but what I mean is it's kind of like both of these are tarnishing themselves a little bit in this. I mean, it's kind of difficult because do you give up if you have been unjustly treated? Do you just give up to save your reputation? Is that fair? Not really. So it is difficult, but it all. From looking at this, it seems like they've both done dodgy things. If Nacon has uploaded the game to Steam without Frogwares mentions and has Frogwares' name scrubbed off the covers to almost imply that it is the sole owner, then that's a bit shit from Nacon. But if Frogwares have done similar things, in the article it says, see if I can find the actual quote. So basically, they were contracted to put the game on Steam, and they weren't doing that. They were going against that, and there was even something in the contract that says if they weren't going to do it on Steam, then third parties can be used to put it on Steam, which is understandable because if you are Nacon and you've invested 10 million euros into developing a game, if that doesn't go onto Steam, you're not going to get your money back, any of it. So well. Obviously, other platforms, we're just ignoring those for now, but you won't get any of your money back from the Steam audience. So using a third party to put it on means you can still make some of the money back. And if that was contracted in, that sounds like a legitimate thing to me. It's a case of, okay, if you're not going to do it, we'll need someone to make it happen. So they've gone down that route. Obviously, things have started to go wrong there. So, but the point is you've got Nacon supposedly doing things that aren't great. You've got Frogwares supposedly doing things that are great. It almost seems like they've got into this like bitter divorce squabble. Mum and dad don't like each other anymore, and the kids, Sinking City, are just caught in the middle of this squabble where they're both just trying to get what they want out of it. And it may not be that. It may be a case of one side is fully just. We can't really know. It is interesting though, because on Tuesday, after reading the information that was put forward, because I have no reason to doubt that Frogwares are I have no reason to doubt Frogwares. If they're telling me something, why would I not believe it's true? That said, as soon as you see Nacon statements, which are backed up by the Paris Court of Appeal, you suddenly start thinking, okay, maybe Frogwares either not necessarily were lying, but maybe context was missing, or certain bits of information were presented in ways that benefit their case. And by the comment that Jordan mentioned, Nacon closes their statement by saying that they will reserve their right to take legal action against Frogwares for its aggressive and prejudicial comments, and that Frogwares has been careful not to indicate that all court decisions in the dispute between Nacon and Frogwares have been favourable to Nacon. Well, have thus far been favourable to Nacon. I mean, that's quite key. That's basically, oh shit, in the legal stuff, everyone is against us, so let's just ignore that and go, oh yeah, look at all these bad people, and let's just not talk about the other stuff, but the bad people, oh, you're all bad, and you kind of incite them up. So yeah, it's a shit show. The game, okay, I will put my boot into the game, even though I've not played it. Let's just say the game's not worth this level of shit. Nacon and Frogwares have both been dragged into something. I mean, the game could be. I've not played it, but with all of this going on, I'm not going to play it anyway. So yeah, it's not great. Let's just put it to bed. Nice. Potbank says, I can't see Frogwares making that many more games in the future if there is action taken against them. Exactly. Who's going to want to work with a developer that's done that if all the courts are filing against them? And that's the thing. Is it worth that much that you tarnish your reputation and you can't really do anything? Sounds like they've made a frog out of a tadpole. They're on a toad to nowhere. They forgot that Nacon would probably respond, no! my God. We're scraping the bottom of the pond. Hey! Absolute pond life in here. Hey! Okay.
Sorry, I was going to say a quick one. Do you think, like, obviously them publicly outing this dirty laundry, it's them spitting the dummy out that they're not winning in court. So obviously they're just going to the public and telling them not to buy the game. I'm guessing that'll put them in way more legal trouble than they already are.
Potentially could do, because there's libel / slander. Well, it would obviously be libel because slander is more verbal, but it will be libelous claims there in terms of they're not only damaging them through contractual obligations that were not fulfilled, they're now extra contractual. This is stuff outside of the contract that adds on to it. They're damaging their reputation and potential for future earnings. If Nacon are, let's for the benefit of balance, because the other day we took the side of Frogwares because we were going off their comment. Let's take the side of Nacon for the rest of this bit today and assume that Frogwares are the bad party. If Frogwares are the bad party and they have started losing in courts, so have tried to whip up a social media frenzy to get some form of support for them, if they've done all of that and it's all libelous, then that's not great at all. And they could be opening themselves up to a huge can of worms if Nacon go, do you know what, fuck this. Not only have you fucked over us contractually, we want to take you for libel as well now, because you've defamation of character. Our potential for loss of earnings going forward is quite big. We're a publisher. And if developers see us as this monster that just takes games and tries to present it its own and stuff, they're not going to work with us, so we're not going to earn. So, yeah, if Frogwares are the ones that are the negatives in this situation, then, yeah, hopefully Nacon, from their perspective, hopefully Nacon just put things to bed, because there's the potential going forward that could be quite big. Love a good pun, love a bad one even more. Well, this story spawned both. I also think Frogwares have been the one to come out with statements before anyone else. Yeah, exactly. Like Jordan says, so that there's a link in the article that said, by encouraging the gaming community via Twitter not to buy the game on Steam. That links through to a previous article where the Sinking City developer was basically saying, don't buy the game on Steam because it's not our game. That's the one that they've hacked, and they've removed any mention of us and stuff. And so they were the ones that started kicking off the conversations verbally externally. I mean, there is arguments in terms of, is that external conversation to try get action around the Steam, and there's like I say, taking bits with a pinch. That could be their own, or they feel like their only course of action as a small developer. How do they get a game from Big Ben Interactive, aka Nacon now, off Steam? Okay, well, we kick off about it. That draws attention to it. But if they're kicking off without the justifiable reasoning, then it's bad. I wonder if Kermit will be their lawyer. Kermit? We will see. Anyway.
Oh man.
Okay, let's move ahead. We almost made the dolphin laugh appear. It's fine. Let's stop it before it happens. If anyone's never heard it, Jordan's laugh is not a sight, is a sound to behold. There you go. So has anybody got the clip from back in the day, Bib? You around? Do you want to share the clip? Nice. Okay. Okay, we'll move ahead. Do you know what? Actually, from one lawsuit to another, and this is one that's a little bit closer to home. And I say closer to home purely because it's more likely that viewers in the chats, particularly with the games that we play on stream and stuff, will play games from EA, specifically FIFA, because obviously we play a lot of PES, we've played some FIFA and stuff on the channel, and no doubt our viewers are in the same sort of mindset. So chances are you guys have played FIFA more than you've played the Sinking City, or the Sinking Ship as it is now, as someone said in the chat the other day. So one lawsuit to another. Let's jump into this, as Andy Robertson at VGC says, EA loot box lawsuit dropped after company convinces lawyers it doesn't adjust difficulty. This is the right result, the company said. So a class action lawsuit over FIFA loot boxes has been dropped after Electronic Arts provided plaintiffs with detailed technical information and access to its engineers. As reported by GamesIndustry.biz, the lawsuit accused EA of secretly using its patented Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment, or DDA, technology, which is designed to dynamically adjust difficulty. I mean, imagine that. Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment? Dynamically adjust difficulty. Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, let me start again because I've just butchered that for everyone that's listening, the flow of it. As reported by GA.biz, the lawsuit accused EA of secretly using its DDA technology, which is designed to dynamically adjust difficulty in its FIFA, Madden, and NHL series. It claimed that EA's sports games adjust difficulty levels with the goal of encouraging users to purchase Ultimate Team player packs in order to increase their odds of winning. In a statement published on Thursday, the publisher revealed the plaintiffs themselves have now dismissed the case after it showed them evidence that there was no use of DDA or scripting in Ultimate Team modes. Quote, "This is the right result," the company said in a statement. While EA does own a patent for DDA technology, that technology was never used in FIFA, Madden, or NHL, and never will be. We would not use DDA technology to give players an advantage or disadvantage in online multiplayer modes in any of our games, and we absolutely do not have it in FIFA, Madden, or NHL. EA has found itself at the centre of the loot box debate amid increased governmental and legal scrutiny of the games industry in recent years, with the company currently facing several lawsuits claiming its use of pay-to-win mechanics breaches gambling laws. Former EA Sports boss Peter Moore recently urged that FIFA Ultimate Team was a long way from gambling. We'll stop there because we don't want to look into the is FIFA's loot boxes gambling, because that's a separate issue. Whether you do or do not think loot boxes are gambling, the tagline is a little bit misleading actually, because as EA loot box lawsuit dropped, it's not so much about the loot boxes, but more about the DDA, the Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment technology, aka scripting. So after EA gave access to technical information and engineers that work on the game, the plaintiffs themselves have decided, okay, fair enough, we'll drop it. So they believe that there is no scripting in FIFA. What are your thoughts, Jordan? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's that whole point of the more difficult you make it, the more involved someone gets. And yeah, I mean, this has been a thing that's long going, and I hear it a lot in the FIFA community that people do believe that EA do manipulate it. So the more you buy, obviously, the more better sort of players you get in the game. Because wasn't there a thing ages ago with FIFA where they were dynamically changing the handicap during a game? So if someone was like 3-0 up, so then the game would be a lot more closer.
Well, that's the thing in question. So that is dynamic difficulty adjustment. The rumors were that if I was playing you and I go 3-0 up, the game goes, okay, well, this isn't quite right. It doesn't matter that you've got 97 Ronaldo or whatever. Let's dynamically adjust the difficulty to map things out, which is where the scripting comes in. So that's where the rumors were, that the game would drop your 97 Ronaldo to be an 82 Ronaldo, and my 98 Ronaldo suddenly starts playing much better. And the idea being that because you've got a 98 Ronaldo, you're so much better than my 97 Ronaldo, even though there's only one overall point in it, that I need to now start buying Ultimate Team packs to increase my chances of getting 98 or 99 Ronaldo to get better than you so that I can win going forward. And that's where the concept came from, is that people believe that EA were pushing scripting on games to make people invest in Ultimate Team. So sorry, back to you then, continue.
Yeah, so and I mean, to be honest, like the difficulty can be tied to open loot boxes, which I originally thought it was. So obviously, depending on the team that you've got, and obviously your success rate with certain players, it would either lessen that or make that a higher chance of getting those players. Because realistically, I think, even though this has been proved to not be true, obviously about the handicap during the game, I still think that the Ultimate Team is very tied. Obviously, I can't get my words out. So it's very tied to the plays that you get, sorry. But I just generally think that I can't get my words out. I don't know why. So basically what I'm trying to get to is the point that players come out, obviously you get these players, and Ultimate Team is very difficult for new people. So let's just say that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, Ultimate Team is very difficult for new people coming in. I mean, PES is quite different, obviously, in the fact that I just started playing PES again the other day, and I already started getting decent players. When I play FIFA, it took me like 4 months to get a decent player. Now, I generally think that's scaling difficulty that they've put in the loot boxes, and clearly it's not true, but it seems that way because it takes so long to even progress in Ultimate Team, and it just makes it difficult, and it puts me off from playing Ultimate Team online because I just get 10-0'd every 2 seconds. But
well, what was it? Was it like 24-0 though that you had on PES or something like that? So don't forget that one.
Yeah, I think on PES I got like something like I think it was like 3 games in a row got 10-0'd. But I'm terrible at football games, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like how do you keep people invested? And I generally think EA do have something in there that makes people invest more money. That's what they want you to do.
I mean, I would argue that the rates don't necessarily change based on how long you've been playing it or how much you've put into it, because I think that there's probably elements of confirmation bias in that. You're looking for something, and the results that you get, you can confirm your story. So you think that's it; it's proven what I've said. So there is elements of confirmation bias in that. That said, the fact that the chances of pulling players are so low on FIFA anyway, that's no doubt going to feed into a lot of people's confirmation bias. Because if you think in your particular circumstances, be that you're a new player, be that you're someone that doesn't invest money, be that whatever, you think, oh, well, I've not got a player because of my circumstances. In reality, you've not got a player because it's super difficult to get any good players, which is why content creators are so valuable. In terms of a lot of people's consumption of FIFA content, a lot of people will never get to play with the best players. So they live that through content creators and influencers and so on, or would have to spend a lot of time investing in the market and building up coins to buy players, because the chances of spinning and packing players is quite low. Anyway, that said, coming back to the original point of the DDA, it's nice to see this, because I've never believed that scripting has existed in games. I mean, I feel like it, and I will probably say it when things go against me. When I say in games, I mean in football games or sports games, because the amount of AI manipulation in there people don't realize how hard it is to code AI, and to make the AI change based on scenarios in the game, subtly enough for you to not, like, matter of fact 100% prove that there is scripting in there, to make AI be so subtle that that exists. I mean, you need to invest pretty much all of your AI programming for years to make that possible. So scripting, I remember a few years ago, Adam Batty from Konami came out and said that after a lot of people mentioning, I mean, I don't know if Mr. T is still here. I don't know if you remember this or whether you were part of the team at that point in time. Anyway, Adam came out from Konami HQ. Adam Batty from the brand team, Pez, basically said that the team are going to look into scripting because a lot of people have mentioned it. And they looked into it and they were like, okay, we've investigated. There is no scripting in the game. There's nothing in the game that has been coded that makes the gameplay change specifically based on that, other than the player emotion stuff. So basically, Pez came out and said, it's not there. EA have now come out and said, it's not there. And that doesn't surprise me, because I will piss and moan if I'm losing. I'm like, okay, they're going to score. I can see it coming a mile off. And then it happens. There's all sorts of reasons in that. And I will piss and moan about it. But there's a good chance that I'm partially to blame for that, because if I see it coming, and I say it, confirmation bias. I'm confirming something that's going to happen before it happens. And when it happens, that's it, it happened. Plus, I probably change my gameplay style because I'm seeing it happening and stuff. Or I'm overextending, trying to stop it from happening, which makes it happen even more. So, yeah, I think this is good. I mean, I don't think that loot boxes should be in the game, in any game. I don't like them. That said, I don't think scripting exists to make people buy loot boxes. So I'm quite happy to see this, because it doesn't say, I wouldn't say it restores faith, it just confirms the faith that I'd already kind of put in the games industry, and that I don't believe businesses are out there doing that to people. It's all right to assume and call the corporations greedy, nasty monsters, which to some extent they're businesses, so they've got to make money. But that's a bit different, and I'm glad to see that it's just been confirmed. Excuse me. Tito says Miss Piggy had a sex change. Me? Yes, she did. Goddamn right. Is it not true, or have they just convinced the lawyers that it's not true? Oh my god! Never tried FIFA Ultimate Team, but I have tried Pez, and Pez is really good in my opinion. Nice. I was indeed, says Mr. T. Scripting. Adam and I both investigate this thoroughly with the dev team. I went to Japan and asked. They said no categorically. We relayed that, but hey, people will think what they want. GariClark says, but they have rubber banding in Mario Kart, which is similar. That is true. That is true. That does exist. I remember when we had the a competition where we had a number of the ICU guys, so Luke, Dan, Jack, and so on. And it's so obvious in Mario Kart. You'll see like Luke gets out in front because Luke is ridiculously good at Mario Kart, and then runs over like one of the question mark boxes to get a prize or something like that. And it's like the crappiest, whatever the crappiest thing in the world is, that's what Luke's going to get. Anything that, or he'll get a red shell because no one's in front of him. So what's the point? What's the real benefit of that? But everyone behind him suddenly gets the kill the player that's in first place prize kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely there.
The thing with complex AI as well, there's only one game that's actually built a very, very extreme AI infrastructure, and that's Alien Isolation. The fact that the alien can do multiple things like smell you out and all that type of stuff. I remember watching the documentary on it and the dev diaries, and it's so complex, and I think that's why...
I can smell you. Sorry, I just wanted to mention the quote. My bad.
Just make sure you don't fart on the ship, mate, and you're all right.
Well, I'm screwed. The Xenomorph's like, well, he's down there.
But yeah, Alien Isolation, the alien is such a complex AI, and it's not scripted to find you completely straight away or doing certain actions. It has loads of different variants on how it can find. That's why it looks under the desk and all that type of stuff. It's so cool, man. Like...
So there you go. There is no scripting in FIFA in terms of gameplay changing to adapt to make you lose games, to make you spend more money. It doesn't exist, as much as we probably think it does. It doesn't, and it doesn't surprise me that it doesn't. I will still probably piss and moan like anyone would naturally when you lose a game, because it's the have you seen the pie chart memes when it's like reasons why I die in a game? It's fucking bullshit or whatever, and then in the tiny slither, it was my fault. Yeah. There's a lot of that for me as well. But yeah.
The no scripting in FIFA though, I think. Sorry, just the quick one. I think definitely one of the biggest things that people thought the reason why it was scripted, because do you remember before you scored the goal and all the UI would just go off like miles before the ball was in the net, as if like it was getting ready for you to celebrate a goal and stuff. I think like those little things have built up.
I mean, It's understandable. It's understandable. And there's probably bits in that because I mean, I don't want to jump too far down this conversation because we could be here for days. But I've had conversations with developers in the past, and scripting in terms of to the level of dynamic difficulty adjustment, the gameplay changing its difficulty based on whether you're winning or not, in order to try and get you to impact your behaviors and stuff. That's huge. Games do have elements of what people would probably class as scripting, and that is the game trying to give you the outcome of a scenario before it's happened, or trying to predict the outcome of a scenario before it's happened. Not script, but to try and learn, to try and get you to reduce the amount of time it takes to request information from a server and things like that. It's purely for mechanical engineering reasons. So stuff. If you were a non-developer like me, you'd probably go, well, that's kind of scripting, isn't it, really? But from a developer standpoint, it's finding ways to provide you with information, and you see that more with Google Stadia came out, and yeah, that's not the greatest example of anything technological, I know that, but Google Stadia came out and said that they have softwares that try to predict your inputs, so that they can, like people were saying, well, is it not going to be shit, me pressing my X button and then it flying off to the Google server in the cloud and then doing something and then coming back as opposed to just happening in the console? So they were trying to predict inputs and stuff to make gameplay lag-free. Yeah, not flawless. Probably not the greatest example, I know. But the idea of... It's the same problem that developers face unilaterally is there's always going to be a lag, always going to be a disconnect in some sense from one player in one place and one server in another place. You can speed that up, and it has been sped up massively over the last 10, 20 years. Still will speed up, but one of the ways that developers tried to get that around that now is with that predictive input. That is different from the level of dynamic difficulty adjustment, though. That is the game going, okay, so you're winning and really well. You think that the players that you've got are good enough to maintain and keep with? Fuck that. You're going to need to buy some more now. Lose games, and that's a bit different. I mean, yeah. I mean, make your own assumptions. We'll put a pin in it there. But yeah. That was it. There you go. Enix, listen to his laugh. It's horrendous. That's an example of Jordan's laugh. Do yourself a favor. Click that link. Enjoy. You usually get a coin or banana when you're in first place on Mario Kart. That's it. Coin. Bing. Oh, great. That's really going to help me in a fight. At least a banana you can drop just as you're about to get red shelled. But yeah. Someone called The Exorcist. So Link's clearly watched the video. There you go. Nice. Okay, well, let's move ahead. This story has been shared by one of our own. Mr. SteelBonsai in the chat shared this story. Has anyone played Marvel's Avengers? I played the first couple of hours of it on stream and haven't gone back to it. Jordan has. But if you haven't, then, do you know, it might get a little bit more difficult for you if you thought about jumping into it. As this story, written by Matt TM Kim at IGN, says, Marvel's Avengers increases the XP grind and gets rid of random cosmetic duplicates. Marvel's Avengers, adjust the XP grind is the tagline. Okay, so leveling up your heroes in Marvel's Avengers will take longer after Crystal Dynamics announced it will be changing the way XP progression will work. On March the 18th, the newest DLC character Hawkeye is set to be released alongside the next-gen versions of Marvel's Avengers. But Crystal Dynamics is also changing up some key progression mechanics along with how random cosmetic drops will work. Let me just hit play on the trailer and mute it, just so that there's some moving imagery on screen. I don't know if it will be useful to you, but there you go. So in a new developer's blog, the Marvel Avengers team shared that the current XP progression curve isn't really a curve at all. That was a quote. Whereas most RPGs increase the amount of XP required to level up as players get stronger, Marvel's Avengers XP system is linear and static. Quote, this has led to pacing issues, such as skill points currently being rewarded too fast, which may be confusing and overwhelming to newer players, says Crystal Dynamics in the blog. To fix this, Marvel's Avengers will begin increasing the amount of XP required to level up, starting at around level 25. The XP will increase the closer the player gets to level 50, which is the current max level. Crystal Dynamics says players looking to max their characters quickly can try and grind before March the 18th when the update is set to go live. As for cosmetics, Marvel's Avengers is getting rid of random cosmetics entirely. Starting today, random cosmetic item drops will be temporarily removed and they'll reappear later in the cosmetic vendor and can be purchased through units. On the Play Avengers subreddit, players are somewhat divided on the XP rework. Some argue that characters don't even begin to feel good to play until level 50 and that adding more grind to progression isn't a solution. Others say this change will only impact new players and that easing them into characters through a longer progression will breed more familiarity with the game's systems. Crystal Dynamics has shared some of the changes coming to the native next-gen version of Marvel's Avengers on PS5, including native 4K resolution or 60 FPS checkerboard 4K in performance mode, as well as improved load times, higher resolution textures, and more. You can check out the details linked in the article there. But Jordan, as someone that has played Marvel's Avengers, XP grinding is now a little bit more difficult. Will take you a little bit longer. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so obviously everyone knows I'm the big RPG fan out of everyone. And you know what? I was looking forward to the Avengers. When it came out, I played it and I was like, yeah, it's all right. Like I tried the beta and I sort of enjoyed it, but I thought this could get stale pretty quick. And it did. It got really boring before I even hit level 10. The missions were just tedious. Like every mission was just basically hit this enemy and kill these enemies, and that was it. Like there was just no variety. And RPGs need that, especially in their quest systems. The best ones always have really interesting stuff. So a recent one, Yakuza Like a Dragon, I've been playing that on Series X. One of the best RPGs I've ever played. One of the missions, you're looking after like adults dressed as babies and stuff like that. Like, you know, it makes it very interesting. But I just think they've killed this game off. Like, you know, everyone's excited for the next gen update, and then they decide to make the grind even worse. I just think it's a terrible, terrible move, especially when you're struggling with a player base that's non-existent anymore in the game. As we heard multiple times, like a month after the game released, and there's pretty much nobody playing it. You know, you want to bring the players back. You want to introduce them to the game and, you know, make them feel like it's worth them investing their time in. That's why RPGs are so good. RPGs are so successful. You know, if you're going to be grinding for a good 10, 20 hours, like it's got to be fun. It's got to be something that you want to invest your time in. But yeah,
somebody
these guys
just want to clip that. If you're going to be grinding for a good 10 or 20 hours, it's got to be fun. There you go.
So you know, and plus Spider-Man's still not out. Everyone knows that Spider-Man was the big talking point between the Xbox and PlayStation versions. That's not out, and the characters are just bland as well. Like in terms of the movesets. So yeah, there's a lot that isn't going for this game in terms of an RPG. If it was just a normal action game, and they called it Marvel Alliance like 4 or something, it would have been a lot better game if they made it like that. But yeah, the RPG systems are terrible. It's what killed Anthem off. You know, the end game and just really bad sort of quests and all that type of stuff. And this is the same.
Yeah.
And yeah, increasing the XP is just a terrible, terrible thing, especially when you've got no players playing the game and you want to introduce them.
It is bizarre. I mean, as someone that like I said, I played the first 2 hours and I've not gone back to it since. But universally, speaking to people, it's a case of the game's not horrendous. The game's okay. In some parts, it's actually really good. Some places, not so much. But you just fly through to the end game and then there's nothing there. So what's the solution? Do we add more content? Improve the end game? Ooh, maybe. Alternatively, let's just stretch it out so it's harder to get to nothing left to do. No, don't do that one. Don't do that one. But that sounds like what they've done. Asim says, I bought the PS4 version of Avengers for 20 quid as I wait for the free PS5 update. This news does not make me happy, and it seems like people currently playing are not too. They want content, not to make leveling up harder. There was a tweet from Greg Miller that summed it up, which I did click on, and I have here. So let me play this. Shout out to Greg Miller and the Kind of Funny guys. And this tweet is from Greg Miller's Twitter, as linked in the chat by Asim. Let's play the video. Let's play. I've not listened to this, so I will go through this with you guys.
Avengers is making dumb and smart decisions, I feel. They put up a blog post talking about both reworks for XP and Cosmetic. We'll be increasing the amount of XP needed to level up, starting from around level 25. As you all know, I am well aware of all the problems with Avengers. I have the Platinum in Avengers, and this is so fucking stupid, Paris.
Yes, it is. You want more people to come in. You want to ease people. You want to make it more fun, more exciting, and you're immediately putting up this barrier right now.
This is a tone-deaf decision that I hope they walk back. Of all the complaints people have about Avengers, this ain't it, Chief. Nobody's sitting there going like, oh man, I hit level 50 too fast. This is so detrimental to what actually kind of worked before, where it was you could pull a friend up quickly. I don't understand how they keep stepping on the rake in their front yard. We don't have a roadmap for this game. Where is this content? What the fuck is going on with this game?
This game's not going to survive long term. It just financially, it can't. And things like this keeps people like me from not wanting to give it another chance.
Avengers is making
very, very well put. I mean, obviously that was edited down, but still very, very, very concise. How do they keep stepping on the rake in their front yard? It's a shame. It's such a shame. Do you know what? The way that he was talking through that, it kind of reminded me of the first Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront, you basically level up your character to level 50, same as that, and then that's it. You unlock skins and you unlock new outfits and stuff, so you can play as the Shadow Trooper when you get to level 50, which is badass. And yeah, you know, if you're fighting against the Shadow Trooper in the game, this is someone that's good. And then you get there and nothing happens. So people were waiting for, maybe they'll increase the level cap to 60, so people have got something to grind for again. And it just never happened. Star Wars EA weren't equipped to fully deliver on that, and it was a shame. And it's weird to see a game take another massive Disney IP and do the exact same thing again with it. Like they were saying in that, there's no potential to drag people along with you. If Jordan has been playing forever and he's level 50 and I'm starting now, okay, the fun for Jordan then is that he can drag me up. He can be like, okay, I can watch Graham turn from fucking Peter Parker into Spider-Man across this whole journey. That was a metaphor, by the way. Me start out as a little nothing to turn into a superhero as I hit level 50. Now it's a case of, okay, no, I just play and you just fucking... It's artificially increasing the length of the game rather than actually adding anything of significant value. So it's a poor decision. It's a poor decision.
I mean, yeah, it's just not good. I mean, as said, you just don't. The one good thing I will say about this that I've heard is the single player is worth the game alone. Like the single player is really, really good and it's really fun. But outside of that, the main part of the game, which is like this multiplayer co-op, you know, sort of like it's not Destiny, but it's sort of on the same lines of Anthem. It's why would you increase the grind when you've got nothing at the end? And you know, Greg puts a good point in there. Where is the content? Like, you know, they promised all these characters and all that, and they've released Hawkeye, and I think they released another character recently. But there was supposed to be loads of characters by now. And where's this money coming from as well? Like, obviously, they must have sold quite a bit, but, you know, they've still got to fund this game. And it's just not making money. Like, after its first month, it probably didn't make much money because nobody started playing it, and obviously that got around. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions up in the air.
The Anthem stuff is probably the best example of the situation. It's a game that looks good. Anthem looked good. It's a game that has some hero moments, quite literally in this case. Anthem had hero moments. It's a game that when you're playing certain parts of it, okay, this is quite nice, but it's a game that just lacks substance, which is a shame because the Avengers comes from Marvel. As Gary says, I wonder how Disney/Marvel feel about this. I bet they're fuming as the Avengers are Marvel's gem. Exactly. They are the center of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That brand has more content about it than any other brand in the world. Fucking 20 years of films have led up to the Avengers crescendo. So somehow taking the Avengers and putting that into something with no content is baffling, let alone the fact, obviously, they're telling a different story from the cinematic universe, but then there's still all of the storylines in the comic books that you can take as inspiration as the basis for your content, and there's just no real content there. It's, okay, you can play as Iron Man and you can go pew pew, you can play as Hulk and you go smash. Okay, yeah, but what's the meaning and why? What's going to inspire me to keep doing that? Did you not hear me say the pew pew and the smash bit? Because you could do, yeah. But after that, what do I do? Oh, you want something after that? And that's where I feel like the Anthem crossover is. They've been wowed by that, but it's missing the substance. It's missing the reasoning, and it's amazing how often story and narrative gets forgotten by huge brands. EA have done it. Is it Crystal Dynamics, or is it Square, or both? I don't know. Marvel's Avengers has done it. Let's just put it that way. Rather than figuring out the details of it, they've done the same thing that EA did with Anthem, and they've forgotten how important narrative is. Look at the last few years. PlayStation's perceived success over Xbox on the game front has been around the inclusion of narrative, which is what Xbox is focusing on. And how can huge games continue to keep forgetting narrative? Because, oh yeah, Fortnite Battle Royale didn't have a story, and that was hugely successful. PUBG didn't have a story, and that was hugely successful. Oh yeah, PUBG's got a bit of lore around it now. But the point of those games is the complete lack of a story allows you to make your own story as you go. The game is the story. You landing with nothing and then chopping down a tree to make a fence and then pistoling someone and taking their superior loot and then winning the game is the narrative. That's something that happens as you go. When it's a game where it's just like smash, 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 smash against CPU characters, it's not the same thing. So you need narrative there, and it shows just how important that is. And it's the Anthem comparison, I believe, is at this point. If it's not there, if you've not seen the content, if you've not seen the consistent narrative, if the content is just a new player that has his pew pew moment, so okay, rather than Iron Man using his repulsors or Hulk smashing, you get Hawkeye and he goes, phew, phew. Okay, smash my mic again, phew, fires his arrows, and that's it. All right, once you've fired a few arrows and you fired an exploding arrow, okay, what's the meaning? There is no meaning. It was just about the arrow shot. Okay, well, that's it then. There's nothing to keep going. And at this point, if it's not there, I don't believe it will be. So they're probably sat there going, fuck. How do we... they need to Anthem next it. They need to think, how do we add substance into this now? But that's a year away. Easy. If we've not even got the next-gen versions yet, that's the focus. And then they look at the content. Will it happen? Maybe not. Maybe it does Anthem it. Maybe it does fade out and then disappear, which would be a huge loss for someone that's acquired the Avengers brand. And they haven't acquired the Avengers brand now, a couple of years after Endgame, where it's died off a bit. That brand was announced 4 years ago, before Infinity War and Endgame, when everything was still at the peak of its hype. So they've spent a shitload of money on that IP. So they need to make it work, but I'm not sure if they will do. I'm not sure if they will, which is a shame.
This story really sums up my experience with the game, actually. So Anthem, I really enjoyed the core gameplay loop. It was so fun. The worst things about that were the loop and just the end game. The actual gameplay was so fun. Avengers, I had fun with the heroes, but once it's lost its sort of... I can't get my words out today. You know, like...
Shoes for pigeons. No.
Yeah, like interest, like, you know, where the characters are all shiny and new, and once you've used them, and then novelty. It's like, okay, yeah, novelty, yeah. It's just the same thing. So, like, I'll give an example. I was going through a mission with a friend, and the area looked exactly the same as the previous 4 missions. And about halfway through, I was just pressing the same button over and over again, just doing the same move, just hitting the same enemies with the same objective, and it was just stretched out. They're just trying to stretch. The levels were just so big, and I just thought, why are the levels so big that it's literally stretching out the content? And that's how I felt. And the fact that they're stretching out the XP, it just sums up my whole time with the game. Like, literally halfway through a mission, I literally was hand on head, just like, I'm so bored, it's unreal. And my mate wanted to keep going. I was like, it's boring. Like, it's the same thing over and over again. So yeah.
Well, we'll wrap up that story and jump into the final thing then. So, Coming back through the comments, it's a shame as I was excited about Anthem and this after seeing them and listening to feedback. I'm glad I didn't even bother buying them both, says Bonsai. Seems that way. It seems a lot of people have had the same sort of thoughts around them. Gary says, they've so much material to pull from: TV shows, kids animated shows, comics, movies, video games, and yet this is what we get. Lol. Exactly. David says the game should have been one of those things that could have kept the MCU going, like WandaVision and the upcoming TV series, whilst the films are on hiatus. It should have been. It should have been that taste. Even though it's not the MCU, even though they've made their own spin, it should have been an itch scratcher. So people are like, I've got the itch of more MCU. This is not MCU, but it kind of is. Yeah. Whereas now it's just a beat 'em up. Just go. Okay, what have you done that for? Just because I'm super level 50 and I got there first of all and have nothing to do. All right, well I'm level 12 and it's going to take me 17 years to get to level 50 and I also have nothing to do. Great. We can unite in the fact that there's still no content. Great. But do you know what? If world class, top draw, exceptional content is what you're after, then Fortnite may just have you covered. Irony. I'm talking, that's a bit of sarcasm. But do you know what? GG's. So at least we're talking about one brand that's struggling to get content into its game. Fortnite, we've spoken about many, many times. And already this week, I've said it's like the pop vinyl video games, that everything's been in there. But that in itself should be celebrated. A game that can react and get shit into its game. Shit being an operative word, take that however you want. This, though, shows that they do act quickly. As Eurogamer's Tom Phillips says, there's a Fortnite sea shanty TikTok emote, quote, pirated music. So Fortnite has jumped on the sea shanty TikTok craze with its own take, an emote named Shanty for a Squad. So if you're in a squad and you want shanty, fill your boots. So back into the article. So, set to the tune of Wellerman, it features Fortnite's own lyrics singing about the island storm brewing up and a squad surviving to get their dub. As with the game's Christmas Carol emote, the more of you in your squad using the emote at the same time, the more parts of its vocals are filled in. It's a neat nod to the collaborative TikTok and/or a cunning plan to encourage all 4 squad members into a purchase. Shanty for a Squad launched on Fortnite's item shop last night, priced 500 V-Bucks, and I've had it in my brain ever since. You think you've got away for it? Don't worry, I will play it and it will be in your brain soon. Anyway, TikTok sea shanty star Nathan Evans helped promote the release of this new emote via his Twitter account, while Fortnite's own account gave him a shout out in return. Evans' original take on Wellerman blew up on TikTok last month after numerous other users of the teen social app added in their own vocal harmonies. Evans himself was catapulted to fame via a raft of subsequent media appearances, and a successful remix of his tune has now topped music charts around the world. He has UK gigs planned for later this year and a European tour planned for 2022. Less than 2 weeks remain until the end of Fortnite's crossover stuffed Chapter 2 Season 5, though fans are still expecting Peter Griffin to make a last-minute appearance. So let me just hit play on this.
There once was a squad
Yeah.
that readied up with outfits of fancy
Yeah.
to say what's up. Their hopes were high for
I'm assuming because this is Fortnite, we are safe from DMCA, but we will see.
See there, the storm she'd come to whittle us down and leave just one. Grab your squad quick on the run. Let's take our dub and go.
There, that'll do. That's enough. So, do you know what? You like it, you don't like it, that's fine. You can absolutely hate it if you want, and you can be like, do you know what, actually, big dubs, I could see me and the boys having a bit of fun with this. Fair enough. Whichever way you go, it's fine. But one thing, let's ignore the sea shanty, let's ignore the TikTok stuff. If you see that as a horrendous fad, then that's that, whatever. If you see it as amazing, fine. What is good though is that Epic have acted quickly. They've not only created animations, they've not only written lyrics and got someone to sing it, numerous people to sing it, and put that into the game. Within a month, they've taken something off of TikTok that is divisive and turned it into something in their game. That is in-game content. And that is what makes Fortnite worthwhile. It's not the fact that it's got skins. It's not the fact that it's a cash cow. It's not the fact that it made BR at the right time. It did all of that stuff. But it acts quickly, and that's one thing that you have to praise Epic for. This is why I was kind of happy to see Mediatonic being taken into the Epic family, because Mediatonic, we were talking, me and Chappers, saying how it took 4 months to get the first set of skins, and it was like medieval stuff that didn't really ring with what where it had gone. Fortnite's journey was save the world, and it was crap. They realized very, very quickly. No, let's say it was crap. Obviously, that's my opinion. Take it with a pinch. They realized very, very quickly that the masses don't want save the world. They want battle royale, and they want everything that has followed since then. And they've acted super fast to put all of that stuff in. Making battle royale at first, they acted quickly on because they realized it was something they could churn out quickly to try get people in to save the world and yeah, GG. So this is what you want. This is where Crystal Dynamics should be taking note. There you go. Actually, let's see Gary's comments. Fortnite absolutely nail it with adding trending topics into their game or characters and content that people care about. Fortnite isn't for me, but massive props to them for the way they handle content. And Crystal Dynamics should take note. Exactly. That's the thing. And if you've got a squad of 4 people, then you know what, you can get this. As Asim says, how many skins? 4 skins? 4 skins? Yeah, if you've got 4 people, 4 skins. Nice. 4 skins. Hashtag 4 skins. So yeah, no, fair play, Epic. They nail that engaging element. Even if you hate the sea shanty TikTok at this point, you'll talk about it, and that's job done. So there you go. What are your thoughts, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing Fortnite the last 3 weeks. I've just been proper embedded into it, and I've just been enjoying it. The world's just fun because it changes all the time. Like, I really got put off Warzone because obviously the world is like the same constantly. But yeah, Fortnite, it's so many different things change, and it's all like the different skins and emotes and creatively.
How many skins?
4 skins. So basically, I mean, I've spent about 4 or 5 grand on Fortnite on skins and stuff. I think I remember telling you that when I worked at Jelly.
4,000 skins.
I just like the game. I played it since its very beginning. Yeah, I think this is great. I mean, if this sea shanty TikTok hasn't been shoved down your throat from TV or when you actually go on TikTok or anything, you know, and it's just a bit of fun, you know, like they said with the Christmas Carol thing. The biggest thing that surprises me is the guy's got gigs out of it. Like, imagine being at a festival and like this guy comes on singing sea shanty. Like, what an absolute rave tune you're gonna have. But yeah, it's just creative. And as I said, you know, it's good that Mediatonic got taken over. I had a conversation with one of the old founders of Epic, or one of the old CEOs. And I asked him a question about Unreal Tournament and if we're ever going to see it back. And when Fortnite's success came in, they pretty much removed all the teams from all their projects to work on Fortnite. And that's why they're able to churn out so much content. And each season has a different theme. So obviously this season is like Hunter's season. So that's why we got Kratos, we got Master Chief, which I bought straight away. And then obviously Alien, which I bought that last week. And obviously they added Street Fighter. They're just really, really creative team. And this just shows it as well, you know, getting community stuff that's happening and, you know, adding that in the game as well.
I need to get back into it because if there's less than 2 weeks left, I like the idea of playing as the Terminator. I like the idea of playing as a Xenomorph and as Predator. I mean, I think Predator's gone now, did you say?
No, he's actually still in the game. So they gave a free skin of Predator. So at the top, there's like a jungle bit. Can't remember, it's shadowy something. Yeah. But the Predator roams around invisible, and if you kill him, you get his skin for free. And I sniped a Predator as an alien, which was pretty funny.
Well, I still need to do that. But I mean, whilst all that stuff is quite cool, I have the Mandalorian, and I've only got like a couple of bits of the Beskar armor, so I need to go in and finish doing the Beskar mission so I can get the Mandalorian and fully. Yes, so only 2 weeks left. Fuck, I need to get back into the game. I've not touched it for about 2 months. God damn it! But yeah. Anyway, there you go. Well, let's wrap things up though. So childish, Mr. T, says Gagad in response to the foreskins. Did I really pay my sub for this level of childishness? You're goddamn right. Hey, you goddamn right though. But yeah, there you go. If you want to play Fortnite, the Sea Shanty TikTok emo is in there. 500 V-Bucks, fill your boots. If you don't, it's fine. Nice. But GG's to Epic for being quick to move. And that is what we're going to be doing now. We're going to be quick to move. We are going to finish things up, and we're going to drop a raid on someone else as well. Only 2 weeks left. Isn't that Fortnite? You're goddamn right it is. Percussion. Okay, wait. We are going to raid Percussion. So there you go. I don't know who Percussion is. Renix is...
Sorry, he's a guy in the Halo community, and I've been streaming throughout the week Halo, and he's a really good Halo player. But yeah, he's really going into people's streams and saying, "Do you want me to help you out on call outs and learn the game and get better and stuff?" And I thought that he's a really, really good person.
Cool.
And I was speaking to him yesterday, so
that's cool. That's cool. Well, we're going to drop a raid on percussion. There you go. We won't be streaming this afternoon. We have meetings and things. However, we will be back this evening. Probably playing Pez, although I don't know. Maybe it changes into Fortnite now. After that, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. So feel free to drop a follow on the channel if you are new here. You will get notified when we do go live. I think it will be around 5-ish. But drop a follow and you'll know. Either way, you can follow us on social media. !socials in the chat. We'll give you all the links, and that way you know whenever we do go live. It's usually 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday with The Scoop. And The Scoop is our daily news show. You know, because you've just been here for an hour and a half ish watching it. So if you do want to submit any stories for The Scoop, a number of you guys do that regularly. Shout out to Gary and Bonsai who did so today with stories for today's news, both of which were included. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you want to share your stories, drop them on socials or in the Discord, !Discord in the chat. Give us the links and your thoughts and impressions, and we will share our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time on Monday, Jordan?
10 a.m. ish.
Yeah, he knows. Once again, shout out to Jordan for guest spotting 3 times this week. Chappers and Dan from Insert Coin Clothing, who have all joined us this week to help fill the gap that Bibby left by rudely going away and having some time off. How dare he? Although, I say time off, he's been doing lots of housework and garden work and stuff, so he's probably going to be more looking forward to getting back into the Scoop next week. So we'll be back 10 a.m.-ish on Monday with the next Scoop, 5 p.m.-ish tonight with gameplay. So if we don't see you in either of those, then we'll see you sometime in the future. But until then, have yourself a fantastic day. And Jordan has 2 words to end the week for you, which are...
Stay frosty!
Yeah.